Let me start this video by showing you something epic, and that is the mistakes that the team that we're playing in Polokwane City makes. If you look at this video, you see that this is a Richards Bay player about to take a shot. Look at the Polokwane City players. Okay, maybe it's a once-off, but if we move to this game, this is Reyners, once again in the same space. Polokwane City players nowhere near him. You look at another game, and you see that once again there's a midfielder here. No one is around him. They're about to play the ball here to Reyners, which leads to a goal. That's not all. This is also a person here on the ball far right, and there's someone in the middle who's not marked. The ball is about to be played here. This defender has no idea that there's someone behind them, and now he wants to come to this guy and engage him, and there's a mistake. They're so disorganized they concede a goal. And this is against SuperSport United. There is a guy. Look at how many Polokwane City players are in the box. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. SuperSport players, 2. And yet, SuperSport manages to score a goal from that position. Now, the question is, how can Kaizer Chiefs fail to beat this team? I'll tell you what. They might fail to beat this team for a very simple reason. And that reason is, obviously, the fact that Kaizer Chiefs tends to prefer to play this way. And this way is not really a good way to play for Kaizer Chiefs, because if you've noticed anything from what I showed you with the Polokwane City, is the fact that they seem to not be able to cover these spaces. And for you to be able to play in these spaces, you need smart players. If you have Dupree, I'm not saying he's not a smart player, but he prefers to run into the ball from this side. Same thing with Umodi, he needs to run the ball from this side, in which case the defenders can just close that space off and let him run wide. Same with Dupree, defenders come this side, they just let him go to the side. Now we have a problem, because on top of Dupree and Modi being just players who are preferring to cross the ball, you also have Uranga who's going to be in the box and guarded by 2 defenders. And the moment you have this situation, if Frosla is played on the right, given that Utova will be back, and I don't think the coach will be benching Utitlokwe, and we don't have a fit center back, left back, it might be Dove here. And when they play Dove, sometimes they might play him here, and then Umodi, they might play him here. It's been a while since Umodi wanted to take a shot from this position. So what ends up happening, Chiefs does not commit so many numbers forward. They keep their left back here. Umodi gets isolated. Ushabalala tries to come and help. But if you are outnumbered, sometimes you are then in trouble, because Chiefs will also push Umtetwa for some reason and leave Ustebe here. Now you have this player, Usbongiseni Mtetwa, as a defensive midfielder, he can do the job, but trying to play and make movements around here and cause trouble for Polokwane City, that's just not his game. You push these defenders up, you push them here. The problem now that you have is that Chiefs, for some reason, prefers to stay like this. And these guys up front, there is nothing. Because the reason why these goals that we're seeing here, the reason why these goals are possible, is because of a very simple reason. There is constant movement. There is constant numbers that are going forward. Like, look at this thing right now. Okay, forget this goal. I'm trying to show you this. There are people, you see this one, he's occupying the left back. He's occupying the center back. This one was just moving across to try and press. But there is always someone pinning someone back. In total, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 players. Am I calculating right? You have 7 players of Richards Bay in that case, in that side. Look at how many Chiefs players usually get committed. Only the 5, and you are still left with the 5. In those rare cases, then you have this one coming here and this one coming here. But the thing is, there is just no movement with Chiefs. And that is why they can either double down on him, and then the ball, if the ball is here, it will end up being passed back, and then we call it ball rotation. We play the ball around again, we play the ball here, and then he's stuck because it's between players, and he plays the ball that way. Okay, Mpilo, fine. We hear you, you are talking, you're complaining, as you always do, about Kaizer Chiefs and what they are not doing right. But what can Kaizer Chiefs do right? Well, I'm glad you asked, because if we come back here to our tactical board, what we should be doing as the Kaizer Chiefs is that if you come here, you realize that the goal that they conceded here for 1 against SuperSport United, look at that man making that movement behind. You see? You see? He's watching the defender. Now he makes the move towards the ball. The defender has no idea he's there. We have Uranga to do that. But that's not just it. There's another element to this. The person who's playing this cross, look at the delivery. Pinpoint delivery. That's very good. That delivery, that accuracy. You also look at this goal that they concede here. You see the pass? There is a poacher there. There is a striker who's ready to strike any mistake they make. Reynolds, I know I keep on going back to Reynolds, but the point is not just about Reynolds. The point is about whichever striker that you give any opportunities like that. Even about Bayakora, they are getting opportunities because they are finishers. But also it's about movement. It's about smart players. So Umteto, we need to take him out. He can't be playing in this game. Ne? Udove, I would understand also if he's bench or if we bench Utikloke because he's not comfortable on the ball. So you can keep Udove here centrally. You can have Umashiane here going wide, and you can have this one being in the half space and this one in the mid space. But I'm not done with the changes. I will also swap out Umteto. I've already swapped out Umteto, right? And I can bring on Mfundo Vilakazi. And now I'm not going to play 2 sitting midfielders, but I'm going to play 2 number 8s. And in that way, Mfundo Vilakazi has so much freedom and he can move here into these spaces and want to receive the ball here. He did it against Amazulu. Umtusha Balala, if he makes this move here, then Mfundo Vilakazi can be the one who does this. Ufrosla can be the one who inverts into space, so that we are just making sure that they are in trouble and they are cornered. And also we have numbers in the box. We are not just having one person in the box, because if kukhona umthetho, forget Vilakazi, if kukhona umthetho, we look like this Chiefs at times. This one is sitting so deep. Umthetho is just roaming around, but when he receives the ball, he can't control it that properly because that's not his place to play. So we have a problem. So that is why Chiefs is going to need, if you have Mashiane for the crosses, because Uranga can exploit the weakness in their defense, as we saw SuperSport doing it, as we also saw Richards Bay doing it. You're going to need Uranga, but you're also going to need someone who's going to deliver. And what Frosler gives you when he's on the right is those deliveries that we know he can give, right? So that's strategy number 1. We have crosses with them. But also, more than crosses, if we have these ones, we have movement. And we've seen that this can be a movement. This guy can literally move here, and this one can move into the space. Zlalama 1-2, the ball is here, he comes across, then the ball is passed to him, he finishes in those areas. Constant movement we're going to need, but we're not going to do that playing Umthetwa in our midfield. You're going to need Abo Shabalala, you're going to need Abo Mfundo Vilakazi, because the other thing is, with Mfundo Vilakazi, what would be nice about him is that if he plays here, what that also allows Chiefs to do is, if we're not crossing the ball, you can have Udupri being in the box. You can push Uvilakazi to the side if he wants to. He can take people on from this side. He can come back in, he can take a shot, but he can also be just roaming around here. If this man is coming to engage him, then that's where Ushabalala comes in to come into the space. If they try to close him down, Umodi can always come short. And remember, also if Mashiane also knows how to play the ball. We are not always trying to rush the ball to cross it into the box. The ball can be here. You have an option to pray. You have an option to Frosler. And if Frosler is in the space, he can play a very good ball into this, which means he's forced to pass this one. In which case, Vilakazi can always make this movement. Dupri can always come short to collect the ball. Ushabalala is also there. You see the triangle. You have this triangle. Can pass, can pass, can pass, he can pass. Because if the ball is played here, movement around the back, either you bring the ball back here, which means the Frosler is still here. There is a lot of things and that you can do if your players are in a position whereby they can just make those easy passes, easy quick passes, pass and move in small spaces. But Chiefs, we tend to depend on long balls too much, and it's easier for teams to stop those long balls. And if you are moving the ball quick in small spaces, then it's harder for the team to defend you. And as I've said, this midfield of Polokwane City can be exposed easily if you are playing with players who are not like fast, because I'm not saying we must play pace. I'm saying we must be quick and incisive. Shabalala can do that. Play the ball, move. That's quickness. Does not mean a player who can sprint. That's not what I'm saying. So I do think that Kaizer Chiefs needs to play Labo. Even Usamukelo Zwane, if you don't want to play Mfundo Vilakazi, you can still play Usamukelo Zwane because he'll be able to move the ball, bring the team and make the team play, and find those small spaces that Polokwane City seems to be leaving all over the pitch. So I do think that this is a winnable game. The coach did say they analyzed the game, but they've been analyzing the games since the beginning of the season and we've not seen nothing. But I hope this time they did see this thing that I did see just by watching my highlights. Polokwane City ukuthi in their weakest moments, it seems like that midfield can be done easily. But Nina, what do you think about the game? Do you think Kaizer Chiefs has a chance of winning this game? Let me know down in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, remember, Khosi aliphela umoya.